So welcome everyone at the Speculative Design workshop, where we will collaboratively be imagining preferable AI futures. This workshop is organized by Nadia Piet, Karolina, Thakker, and Erik who are here with us. And it is also part of an ongoing collaboration between AI X Design platform and Speculative Futures Rotterdam. Please let me mention at the beginning that the festival and this event also is supported by Abacus Foundation and using public funds provided by Slovak Arts Council and the City of Prague. Also very important to mention that this event is being recorded and it is also live streamed. So there might be some people following us what we are doing on YouTube, and we will try to make it as accessible as possible. And during and after this event, you can also make use of our Discord channel, where we have a dedicated text channel for this event. So if you need to drop some information there, you can use it, but you can also use the chat here in Zoom. And you can also use Discord later after this event ends, if you feel like hanging out with other people. We have also voice channels there. And also, if you are making pictures during this event, how you're working or how it looks like behind your screens, please share it with us using hashtag Uroboros Festival or hashtag Uroboros Nest. And that's all from me. Thank you for joining us today. And let's start the healing journey across the spectrum of possible futures. And now I would like to give the word to our hosts.
Thank you. Welcome everyone. We've prepared a little presentation for you guys to start with. It's really exciting to see everyone here. Thanks for sharing your time with us. I'm gonna be sharing my screen here. Oh no, not sharing. And maybe a good thing to know is that on Zoom, there's the side-by-side function. So you'll be able to not only see this beautiful presentation, but also each other. Welcome to this Preferable AI Futures workshop. It will be lasting for about 2 hours if everything goes smoothly. Usually things don't go smoothly, but let's hope for the best. We are Karolina, Nadia, and Erik. As was mentioned before, it's a collaboration that is ongoing since about, I think, summer last year, a collaboration between Speculative Futures Rotterdam, which probably most of you guys know the different chapters of the Speculative Futures channels, and the AI X Design community, something which was launched by Nadia about a year ago. And since then, we've been kind of brainstorming and talking about what we feel is lacking and what we feel is happening within the creative industry, but also within the futures industry and the AI industry. Hence this workshop. Why speculative design?
Yeah, hi, I'm Karolina. And as Erik mentioned, I represent Speculative Futures Rotterdam, where we bring futures thinking and speculative design to people, and we try to think together about futures. So why we decided to call our workshop AI Preferable Futures and take that future part into our workshop. So we believe that actually imagination is the first part of innovation, and it's important for us to first imagine the futures, then to take an action towards them. So Nadia can tell you a little bit more what type of futures we will try to imagine during this workshop.
Yeah, so my name is Nadia. I lead AI design, and as we said earlier, we just sort of started discussing how the sort of prevalent image of AI is like Skynet and all these dramatic things in sort of mass media, but then also just generally in media coverage, there's a lot of focus on the threats and the downsides and the fear around AI. Justifiably so. There's a lot to look out for, and a lot we need to, bring sort of like conscious intention to. At the same time, there's this, self-helpy phrase like you need to see it to believe it, or like you need to imagine, anything that becomes real has to be imagined first before it can sort of come into being. And so we think that if you're only thinking about AI as this like really scary and dangerous and sort of bad force in society, there's not a lot of space left there for all the opportunity and like the positive impact it could bring. So the goal of this workshop is to be almost like hyper optimistic, almost, you know, utopian, almost like naive, because we need that to sort of like tip the scales. And for me as well, it's like, I don't know if people are familiar with like sort of cyberpunk and solar punk, but it's this like hyper optimistic approach to it that then we'll bring it down to earth later. But at least for this workshop, we're looking at, yeah, like utopian preferable futures with AI to tip the scales a little bit on what we think about when we hear this term. That's it.
Yeah, it will be a workshop with this as our agenda. It's a very short overview. You don't have to memorize any of this, but just for you to know what you'll be diving into with us today. A little few sentences on vertical etiquettes, just so we're all on the same page. It's more useful to use the chat to ask questions, but also if it's silent, feel free to just talk to us, or like talk to each other, unmute yourself. And maybe a nice mention that although some of you might have a background in design research or futuring or these kind of workshops, not everyone will have this. So we're trying to keep a beginner's mindset because we all have different experiences within different fields. Just good to mention, I think. And we'll be doing the workshop in mural. Again, I think maybe something most of you guys will be familiar with, but if not, most of it is quite intuitive, but it can also get a little bit confusing sometimes. So if you're lost, all the way at the bottom of the page, you can click on little circles. And if you click on one of the circles of our names, you will follow our screen. So you'll be able to see where we're looking at. So that might help you navigate in the direction in case you are lost. That's all for now. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and send you guys a link to our mural. If there are any questions, please let us know in the chat in the meantime, which is also where I'm now dropping the link. Looking forward to seeing you all there. Why not Miro? It's either, personally, I'm usually a bit more of a fan of Miro, but they kind of do the same thing to me.
Yeah, we can wait for everybody to enter the mural space first. I see already a lot of people. Just move around, explore the space a little bit. Yeah. Okay, I think most of us are inside. Perfect. We hope that the board is self-explanatory. We're gonna work from left to right. So we start where we have the text starts here. So this is where we're gonna start with our first exercise. So you can zoom in over there. And yes, welcome to our Mueller space where we're gonna do some safe futuring where no ideas are banned. Yes, okay. So I hope everybody zoomed in to our first exercise that is called anxiety mapping. It's just below the text start here. Perfect, I see a lot of people here. If not, you can always follow me or Nadia or Erik. Yes, our first exercise we're gonna do with all of us together. And as Nadia mentioned before, our topic kind of came from that idea that in pop culture, we have kind of a negative outlook on artificial intelligence so far. So with our first exercise, we wanted to ask you to write down all the fears, anxieties, and all other negative emotions that you have and that are in relation to artificial intelligence. So you can see that big circle and it's split into half. The upper part is gray. So this is the part where we want you to write down all of your fears. You can do it by editing the little post-it, or copy pasting one of this post-it by double clicking and creating a post-it, but basically use a post-it to write down your fear. And you have a couple minutes to do that. And then we will talk you through the next exercise.
Yeah, so what we're kind of looking for here is all the bad ideas that we get from pop culture or from ourselves in what AI could do or should do or would do to us or to the world.
Yeah, there are some good ones already. AI robots taking over the world. Surveillance, yeah. I think they're already in AI blog right now during the festival, so you might have already discussed some of that before. Terminator. Perfect. We can give you 1 minute more, and I think we will already have enough of ideas. World of Silicon Valley Bros. It's very catchy. Yeah, also there's no wrong answers here. Just let it all out. What do you think, Erik, Nadia? Do we have enough to move forward?
Yeah, let's all have a little bit of a look through it. We see reinforced biases, power dynamics, who benefits, data, ethics. I can let's see, AI robots taking over the world, as the Terminator might do. Complexity. I think there's a lot of things that are either talking about the intelligence or about creating bigger gaps in the current minorities and differences we already have in this world. Loss of jobs, I also see a few times. And surveillance. I think those are like quite the general topics. You can keep dumping it here if you feel like you want to cleanse a bit more of these negative energies that come through you, while we also move on to the next exercise.
Yeah, so you can keep on posting if you have more more fears, as Erik said. But now we want you actually to take one of these post-its over here and copy paste it and move to the green field. But while doing that, we want you to reflect on what is written, what type of fear is there mentioned on that post-it. So for example, if the post-it that you copy paste says mass unemployment, we want you actually right now to we want you to think how AI can make this specific thing a little bit better in the future. So we focus first on what bad can happen. Now we want you to focus on what good can happen. So for example, in case of mass unemployment, try to be specific how AI can make our job market better. So I would think, for example, oh, maybe AI would help us to make jobs more fitting to our personalities. And then again, if it's surveillance, how could AI make our world better by taking care of us, for example? So try to be a little bit specific, but also, again, there's no wrong answers. This is just first exercise to cleanse a little bit of this negative outlook on AI that we know so well from the pop culture. And yeah, it's like a warm-up exercise to get our creative juices flowing in the process. Yes, so we are free to dream over here. What we would like to see happening in the future, just how AI can help us doing that. A lot of animals working hard. Great. Already a lot of good answers here. AI super robots helping catching bad guys. The new superheroes.
What I think is nice to see is that when we started doing this workshop in the beginning, we noticed that a lot of people had some problems with shifting from the negative aspects of AI to positive ones. So we would have 20 post-its in the negative realm, but then like 8 in the positive one. And it's really nice and refreshing to see that we're being able to come up with so many positive side effects of the negative ones that we've been writing down here. Eliminating biases, and helping us understand our own biases more. Climate crisis, using AI to help solve it. Pattern matching. Let's see what else is out there. The super robots helping catching bad guys. Creations of new digital identities. AI watching over and protecting us from ourselves. I think that's a very valid point. Yeah, let's give it a last minute before we move on, I think, if you guys are still feeling it.
Yeah, I'm very happy to see that there are so many hopeful ideas. Right, actually, we were discussing before the workshop that we wonder if it's going to be easy to come up with these solutions, and we expected to see much more problems than solutions.
AI robots as overlords. No more wars or conflict. Everything mediated by robots. Protecting from alien invasions.
I like that. All right, so I think we are in a good space right now, right? Or maybe just a bit better. And we started to think in a little bit more hopeful and positive way. And we're gonna continue doing this today. So I think we are ready to right now split you into groups. And so basically we can stop doing this exercise right now, unless you want to add something, that's also fine. But we would like to draw your attention to the next exercise. So right now we move where you see in pink, there is a text that says SDG groups. So this is where we are right now. So below you see different SDGs categories. And right now, maybe we can also shortly explain what SDGs are. So SDGs stand for Sustainable Development Goals. And these are goals that were developed by United Nations to create a better world. So basically, these are current challenges that many countries face nowadays that we have to overcome in order to build more sustainable future for all and for the planet. Yes, so now we want you to create groups, and we're gonna do it based on your preference in regard to a specific SDG. So basically, you can browse through the SDGs, so this colorful post-its with different challenges mentioned on them. Choose the one that you resonate most with and put a post-it with your name on it. Please remember to write down your name, the same one that you use on Zoom, because we will have to divide you into groups based on that names. And we also would like to have evenly spread across the group. So just be mindful, if you see already many people flocking to one category, maybe you can choose another one that you are also interested in. I think there are around 20 of us, maybe a little bit less, so probably around four people per group. And the categories are, the first category is prosperity. So what can we do in order to have a more prosperous world for all? The second group is people. And the third group is the planet. And the fourth group is about the partnership and peace. So we already see a lot of people in planet and people category. Maybe somebody is interested in the prosperity group or in the peace and partnership. We'll give you a couple of minutes to place yourselves.
If this feels a bit overwhelming, the sustainability development goals, then you can maybe think about what you just wrote down in the positive section of the anxiety. So maybe you thought about, I wrote down something about jobs. I would like to continue this workshop thinking about jobs. So then pick an SDG that fits well to that. Or if you're thinking, this is something that really interests me, or this is something I'm passionate about, that's something you could connect it to.
Yeah. Okay, so we have 2 people in the fourth group, 4 people in the third group, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
11 people who put post-its so far, which means we might be missing some still.
Yeah.
Anyone who hasn't decided yet?
You can let us know in the chat. Or just say it.
Yeah, I think we're complete. There's 12 participants and there's 12 post-its.
Yeah.
I would suggest either some people from group 2 and 3 to go to 4. I would say let's have slightly bigger groups and to invite the 2 people in group 4 to either join group 3 and one join group 2. Maybe the last one is the better option. So I would like to invite Abraham to join up one of the 2 existing groups. Mm-hmm. And here we are.
Yay! People
and planet.
Great. All right. Perfect. Thank you guys for such a nice group division. I think it went quite well. Okay, so now actually we would give you a little bit of time to just get to know each other, yourselves in your groups. And in the background, we are already working to divide you into groups. So right now you will enter breakout rooms where you will have chance to say your name, introduce yourself, say a little bit why you chose this specific SDG group. And after that, we will welcome you again and explain you a bit more about the exercises to come.
looking here at the technical support for the breakout rooms in the making.
I have the breakout room. The question is, will we leave one group here, or which one should they choose or not?
We need 2 breakout rooms based on the categories that participants chose. So one group would be planet, and the second group would be people. And so, yeah, maybe I should tell the names.
Yeah, I have it. So I will make a breakout room for people. And the people who are interested in planet will stay here. Yeah, in the main room.
That's cool.
Perfect.
Do you want me to set up some time in the breakout room after which they should close?
Yeah, let's give it 10 minutes.
Okay. So I am opening.
Enjoy.
So the 6 people are there.
Cool. I think we're going to be staying behind with the second group. Please don't feel intimidated by our presence. I'm going to mute myself and go to the background and let you guys take over and introduce yourselves.
Hello, everybody. I guess I can start. I think we did name, who we are, and then where we're interested. Yeah, I'm Abraham. I'm a PhD student at University of Michigan in the US. I study kind of extended reality and advertising and things. So it's like speculative future plays a part. Specifically for this, why I chose Planet, I don't know, I felt they were all pretty good. Originally, I would chose the last one, but then not enough people, so I joined this one. I just think, climate crisis is probably the biggest challenge we're facing and biggest existential threat. So I think it's interesting to see how AI would approach it. Yeah.
Okay, I can go next. My name is Sky. I'm a master student in Prague, and I'm studying future design. And yeah, I'm really interested in AI and doing a bit of research on the topic of AI and design. And well, I don't know why I chose for Planet. I think people is also really cool, and well, the other ones as well. I don't know. It just spoke to me, so that's why I chose. So whoever wants to go next.
Sure, I'll go next. My name's Lizzy and I'm also a PhD student. I'm in London in the UK. And I am studying AI in the arts and kind of creativity. So I'm background in as a musician, and so thinking about AI in music. I chose this Planet group because, again, I think, as was said, I think that the climate crisis really is the biggest kind of existential threat to us at the moment. I think it's really underexplored still in terms of what AI can do. And yeah, just having seen how much, a lot of people that I know are working on machine learning algorithms that take so much energy, and thinking about things like NFTs, which are kind of very, very energy expensive. It's like, how do we create a future where art and creativity and AI can all kind of come together without destroying the planet? So that's kind of my interest. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Mithanshu and I'm from India. I'm a master's student from Prague. And I chose this topic, planet, like Lizzy said, planet is right now the first priority that should be given for solving the problems, right? Other problems can be solved by humans as well, but the planetary problems, we do need an extra help. Maybe AI can do that. So yeah.
Yeah, my name's Remy. I'm not a student. It's been a while since I've been a student. I live in Canada. It's early in the workday here for me right now, and yeah, I think that it's an underexplored area. I spend most of my time teaching AI and design together for corporates and startups and universities in Canada and around the world. So that's a little bit about me.
Okay, hello, I'm Denisa and I'm studying in-person multimedia in the bachelor degree, and I'm interested in connecting humans, technology and nature in some projects. So that's why I chose Planet, because I am interested in connecting the technology with the nature, and that's for me.
Hey, we got 4 more minutes on the clock, but I think we were already, in this group at least, everyone has introduced themselves. It's a bit confusing because there's a lot more screens than people. Maybe Anna, welcome to the group. Maybe you would like to also shortly introduce yourself and why you were interested in joining this workshop.
Well, hi everyone. I just thought it's super interesting, to be honest, and I don't know. I just looked at the program and thought I will join it, and here I am. So a few words about me. I don't come with any particular goal or any particular need, if this is what you're asking about. Who am I? I'm in Berlin. I'm a curator and a creator, and I work with all sorts of things at the intersection of storytelling and audiovisual technologies. So, and I was running a workshop at the festival, which was a very one-on-one, hands-on, basic stuff about AI with Mithanshu also being there in the background. So, but I'm not a technologist myself, and I have no idea about technology, to be honest. So, yeah.
Nice, and that's fine. I think I also don't actually know that much about technology. I think a lot of humans, I think in general, we don't know a lot about technology yet. Maybe for you, good to know is that there's a second group because you joined later, so you've joined one of the 2 working groups. The working groups are based on groups of sustainability development goals, and you have now been put into the group Planet. I don't think
sounds like a great group. I don't know what's the other word, but I think I'm all for the Planet.
Do you have access to the mural already, or not yet? Let me reshare the link before the other people come back. It's here.
What's the other? Sorry for that. I was having a meeting at work, so I don't want to interject. But what was the other group? What is the one that I have not been? What am I missing?
People.
People. Oh, people's nice as well.
I just put the link back in the chat, so you should be able to join there. And I'm looking at Anna from Uroboros. Maybe we can bring back the other group earlier. I think they should maybe be done soon as well. Thanks.
Okay, so I will close it. Yeah. It's like 20 seconds for them to come.
Cool. Thank you.
Hey, welcome back.
I think we're complete again.
Okay, yeah. So now we come back to Mural and we're moving to our scoping exercises. So you can also see this pink tag that says scoping. And this is our heart of our workshop today. Yes, so you've seen probably, and you've talked a little bit in your groups about sustainability development goals. And these, in fact, are quite big, abstract problems. And we would like to ask you right now to be a bit more specific. What type of problem we want to focus on? What type of problem we would like to solve today? Or just discuss. So for that, we would like you to have a little bit more of context. So first of all, we wanted to ask you what type of problems within your SDG category, so either people or planet, you would really want to focus on, and try to be specific. So for example, in the people group, is it to access to fresh food, for example? Is it the violence problem? Or in the planet group, maybe it's overfishing, or maybe it's the deforestation. And then we want to ask you to focus also on a target group. So whom you want to help. Are the animals? Are the teenage girls? Maybe single mothers, queer communities, coral reef. So basically right now, take your specific problem, your specific target group, and put it together in a question. How might we help, for example, teenager girls with cyberbullying that they experience? So that would be the specific problem. And then if you want to add a bit more context, you can also say where it happens or when. Yeah, to sum up, basically try to find a specific dilemma within your sustainability development goal group and a target person. And we want you to have it in a question. How might we help a target person with a certain problem?
Yeah, we'll be doing this in our breakout room. So to answer your question, it will be one question per group. So you'll get about 10 minutes to, as a group, discuss where would you like to focus on within this abstract realm of things that will make the world better. And at the end, you will present your what if, or the how might we question to the other breakout room. So this is, I think, a cue for Anna to put them back in breakout rooms again. You guys will get about 10 minutes to discuss all of this. I know that's a bit dense, but good luck.
Okay, so I'm opening the room.
Yeah.
Is there any issue that particularly calls to anyone?
Are we in the group already? This is our group, right?
Yeah.
Or like, okay, because I wasn't teleported anywhere. So
Well, I guess there's a few things that are pretty obvious problematic. Is like climate change, is like how people are destroying things and stuff. I don't know.
yeah, sorry, I have a problem with my computer. So we have to choose. I cannot open the mural and I don't see anything. So you're saying that we should that you think it would be great to focus on climate change, right? With the particular.
Yeah. I think sometimes it's good to not go. How do you say it? Like not go out of the way of the obvious or so. I don't know. We can also think of something else. Maybe this just one.
Okay, and it's part of the goal, which is called planet, right? Climate is climate action, actually, not climate change, from what I see, right? It's climate action. Okay. And is there particular? Because I understand we also should think of a group, a target group. Did I get this right? That we're talking about a certain goal with a certain audience of like or did I misunderstand?
Yeah, I think we just need to write down a question of how might we, and then come up with a problem that we maybe can somehow change. Like, how might we make this better? Than like a sentence. So I think we just need to decide on a topic. So I was just thinking maybe if anyone else has an idea that what they want to focus on. Or do we all agree with the climate action?
I'm fine with climate action.
I'm fine with it too. I think the trick would be trying to understand what within climate action, like reduce CO2 emissions, stop ocean pollution, which one within that, and try to scope it down as much as possible.
One thing which interests me in particular are narratives, and I think a very difficult part of actually having real change is changing narratives. So either in terms of big tech companies who just don't take the responsibility, and there's a lot of narratives about individual responsibility, but no matter how many plastic bags I would save personally, I know that the response, like the thing that is actually polluting the world is not my plastic bag per se. It's more of a systematic thing. So this narrative is something which I might be interested in, or something which is maybe was subversive but more fun. How do we deal with people who just don't believe in climate change, and people who live in denial of any sort of climate changes that we're facing, which I think could be a nice prompt for this exercise, because it just takes us out of our bubble. So this would be my suggestions, or things which interest me in particular, but of course it's just a suggestion. So
yeah, that was exactly what I was thinking as well, actually. So there's a statistic where it's like 71% of CO2 emissions are produced by 100 companies. So, in terms of who we might be targeting, maybe we should think about targeting those top CO2 emission companies.
So yes. So does anybody have any other contributions or other groups that you might be interested in?
Well, I was thinking for the whole biosphere altogether, like how might we help the whole biosphere with, by providing clean and healthy environment. But I think, one of the major problems is the carbon emission by the major companies.
Okay.
And, so that's one point that can stop it. Yeah.
Well, someone was talking about NFTs before, so maybe we can just focus on this, like alternative models, economic models who are not at the same time destroying the planet. Maybe we could just narrow it down from big companies to maybe tech companies, for instance, just to, I think it's nice to have a good, clear target audience, but we can keep it also more broader. What do you think, guys?
I like the idea of like tackling big companies and CO2 emissions. So that would be my vote.
Anybody has with alternative ideas?
I guess it's good. We should go for this one.
Okay.
And make a question out of it.
So anybody has any suggestions for the question that we may formulate based on this? How might we
use AI to force large multinational companies to stop emitting CO2?
Okay.
I can type it up.
Okay. I think there's also like a paradox here, because a lot of the models are very energy consuming. So the more AI we're using, the more energy we're consuming. So yeah.
So do we also already have to write down sub-challenges?
I'm not sure. Is there anybody from the
Yes, not yet. You're doing great. We just need a how might we question right now.
Okay.
All right.
You're doing really good.
Oh, okay, thank you. Feels so much better. Feels so much better knowing this. Okay.
It might be a bit confusing at the beginning because you have to narrow down from very abstract problem to the very specific one, but I think it's going well. So I'll let you continue conversation.
Okay. Is there anything we would like to add to this?
So maybe kind of drawing on what you said, Anna, was how do we reframe the narrative as well? Like maybe that's the kind of part two to this question, is how do we get people to understand that it is not just about individual action, but about like collective action, and how like I guess companies can emit so much more carbon dioxide than kind of individuals. Does that make sense?
Would you write it down? Also, I would add a side note, which is as much as we want big companies to be accountable, still 30% of the emissions do come from other sources. So how do we overturn this narrative at the same time not using the momentum with individual people who are also making an effort? And I'm not saying me taking the train instead of flying doesn't save the planet in a small scale. It does. So it's about changing, adding to the narrative without reversing the things that we have achieved so far in our bubble of people who are, who have chosen planet here on this workshop, right? And so would you try to maybe make a post-it out of it? Individualistic problem.
Yeah, does that make sense?
I think individualistic sounds like it's something which I should care of personally. Yeah, this is what you meant.
Yeah, but or just being a problem to be solved by individuals rather than a problem to be solved by collective.
Okay, that's a different angle. Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
So I guess then you're also talking about these bigger companies to own up on this responsibility somehow. Kind of connects the two, I guess.
Would you make a post-it out of this maybe as well?
Sure.
So we can have them all here.
Maybe combine them later.
Combine them later, yeah. Any of the other people like Remy or Mithanshu? No, I think you've been contributing, but but maybe Karolina, I can see you also on the call, not sure.
I am the host, sorry.
Oh, you are the host, yeah, I thought so. Okay. I'm looking at the sentence. Also, Denisa and Erik. I don't know who's. Are you guys on the call? Would you like to contribute something, or how do you feel with the things that we've put on the board? It's also, I can see Lenka, but I imagine Lenka is just big brother.
Well, I'm just confused about the first question. How do we use AI, or like how might we stop large companies, multinational companies directly? Because
I understand that it's a twofold question.
yeah,
Like our goal would be to stop big companies to use CEO, and this is a workshop about the way we can use AI for an actual actionable tool. I understood as well. We're adding this component of AI as an actionable tool, then can get us there to a place where big companies will feel that they have a responsibility not only towards the investors but also towards the planet, right? But yeah, I don't think the AI component is mandatory. I think there might be ways which are not AI based, like fines, and just giving back in taxes or whatever. But I imagine we also want to look at the way we can have an algorithmic approach. I understood this was part of the.
So I think my question might be a bit of bad English. If anyone has a suggestion on how to make this question better, then please tell me.
Okay, could you read it aloud for the people who may not be able to maybe
Oh
see?
yeah, sure. How might we encourage, I think encourage is not the right word, multinationals to own up for their responsibility in the narrative of CO2?
I think it's pretty legible. Is there anybody who's a native speaker who would like to maybe no, I'm looking for the right word.
Well, if it's okay, then
yeah.
I mean, if everyone understands, then it's also fine to leave it, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So it's about owning the. It's about the. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Karolina.
No, sorry. I just wanted to tell you that we are back in a big group right now.
Right.
So I hope you all got your question. I see that we already have the questions. So I would like to explain you the next exercise. So you take the questions that you just created. So I see that for the group 2, it was, there are many ones. Okay, so for example, how might we help women of color overcome biases in the recruiting process? And one of the questions from the group 3 Planet was, how do we reframe the narrative of CO2 emission as a collective rather than an individualistic problem? Great. So I see that not only we have one question, but we have many. So right now you have to choose one, because one of the problems that you defined. So take that one problem and then think of the challenges that we face right now in a society for it to be solved. And below, you can see these 3 green circles, and it's mentioned technical sub-challenges, systemic sub-challenges, and individual sub-challenges. So I'm gonna go with my previous example. So if my question was, how might we help teenager girls who suffer from cyberbullying? If that was my question, what are the technical, systemic, and individual obstacles for that? What stops us right now from achieving this goal of helping these teenagers? So for example, from the technical point of view, maybe we don't have enough data safety. From the systemic point of view, maybe we don't have enough laws in action that prevent this from happening. And on the individual level, maybe there isn't enough of seriousness and understanding in a society to actually grasp the weight of these problems. So this would be your next exercise, to define these 3 sub-challenges to one of the problem that you defined. So choose one problem from all of your questions and define 3 sub-challenges. Do you have any question? If we don't have it, then we would like, sorry, there are some questions. I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we're good. Maybe good to know there's again about 10 minutes for this part of the exercise. So the first step is deciding on which how might we question you'll go for, and then together discuss, okay, what are the technical or practical problems that we're facing right now, the systematic ones and the individual or social ones. This is the cue for the 2 breakout rooms.
Thank you.
Okido. So we have 3 questions, right? From what I understand. And we need to choose one.
Yeah, I think maybe the last one, say how we might encourage multinational corporations to own up. I guess that specifies the kind of people that we're targeting a bit more than asking just like how we reframe the narrative. So maybe we should go with that one.
Okay.
Unless anyone else has any kind of thoughts.
I think maybe the other ones could be like sub questions or topics even.
Okay.
I agree. Sounds good.
Okay, so we're going with the violet. It even has a separate color, so it's already highlighted. Awesome. Technical, systemic, and individual. Any thoughts on any of these?
I don't know if this would be systemic or political, but I don't know how much corruption plays a role into it. Like being able to buy off governments or something.
Yeah, sure. For sure, we can add corruption. It's a very important factor. I think also economy, not only corruption, but money as such, you know, as a value, interest.
Yeah, I guess in the more kind of individual or social, there's still the problem of like climate denial and people not accepting the climate crisis is real. So I guess that's kind of a big sub-challenge.
I think also one of the challenges is that is agency. You know, how do we get together? How do we coin our? You know, how do we stand up against big corporations, right? So it's both on an individual, but it's also a systematic problem of, you know, how do we, both on the individual level that we are individuals who are just separate, but also it's a more systemic problem. We're talking about big corporations against individuals, right? So it's something which happens on both levels.
I think this power difference is also a practical even.
Yeah.
Because how are you going to talk to them? Or how are you going to contact or make them, you know?
I think maybe in the individual sub-challenge, there might be a consumption or like that we need a lot of or want a lot of things we don't need.
Yeah, I think it's something which, I think it's also part of the fact that we actually benefit of this. You know, we are beneficiaries in a way of the situation because yeah, because there's planes, or if someone would have banned planes, then we wouldn't have planes, and it's pretty cool to be able to take the plane and go to South America when COVID is over and so on and so forth, and not go there on a boat for a month, right? So I think we're also beneficiaries of the system, which is not very sustainable in a way. So we've created it ourselves. I was thinking also about something I wanted to say or to contribute. Yeah, we'll come back.
I don't know if this would be technical, but maybe a lack of cheap, reliable alternatives.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, I know what I wanted to say. So I haven't been really shopping for the last year, not that I had any needs to do that. And, spring came and I thought I should get myself new socks. So I went on Zalando, which is a shopping platform, and I realized that they have a sustainability section right now, which I think is an interesting case study. So instead of selling new clothes, apparently there's a way of buying some used clothes, and I think many of the companies, I think they're doing this right now. They're going for sustainability, and I'm not sure if anyone is closer to the clothing industry than I am, or basically I'm more of a shopper than I am, but I think it's something which is happening right now. So I think it's also interesting. This is an example of how they are sort of embracing the narrative, and I think COVID is also like a very interesting moment. It's not really a reply to this question, but it's just a general thought that it's this moment of breaking certain habits. So I think it's actually it's not a challenge; it's an opportunity to kind of break also the narrative that we have right now. And the thing which is happening, for instance, with opening the licensing for vaccinations. I think that's a very good example of narratives that are being changed. So so maybe how do we have this? How are they called? Like black swan events happen that will just change the. How do we? How do I think? Yeah, I don't know. It's a very vague idea, but maybe we need this sort of sharp revolutionary moments to kind of have an actual change, right? So it's also a certain challenge. We don't want to have revolutions. We want to have smooth and easy evolutions. So there's a tension here, maybe. I don't know, just a bunch of thoughts and something here.
Mm-hmm. I also added bureaucracy, I think, because it's pretty hard for things to just change easily, especially in like multinationals and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think this is like also the Davos paradox. You're sitting in Switzerland on the top of a mountain, drinking white wine in a glass, and you talk about poverty and inequalities, right? So I think this is also part of the paradox, that the people who make the rules are the ones who benefit from the rules, right? And they are not the ones like climate justice, the people who are most affected by climate are not the ones who will be sitting in Davos at the summit, but are the ones who will have no crops to feed their kids the next summer. So I think it's it has to do with inequalities, that global inequalities from all these goals, they are so somehow interconnected. So if you have so many inequalities in different areas, it's very difficult. It's like this big system of interconnected inequalities that we are in, which is sort of a vicious circle, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's also like it's such a like vicious circle. How do you say it's not something easy to solve, because then it would have already been. Yeah.
I know the hosts of the workshop are listening to us. I was very, when you said, okay, you will solve the problem in the next 2 hours, like, yay, finally, let's find the solution to global problems. Yeah, I think it's not a problem which can be solved in decades, actually. Or maybe it could, maybe it's just people don't want to.
Yeah, maybe with some creative random thoughts, who knows?
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying that maybe, you know, maybe it's not, maybe if only they wanted to, they could have solved it, right? I mean, people went to the moon and stuff. Why can't we just stop the global warming? I think it's a lot about the fact that maybe, I don't know much about big big economy stuff, right? So but I imagine it's not really in particular in the interest of don't want to the conspiracy theories here, but I can imagine it would be solvable if everybody would be really willing to do this.
Yeah, then I would almost tend to like go for the question, how do we solve indifference in the world? But that will make it really ambitious.
Yeah, but
yeah, because there will always be like, if it's something for everyone to do, then there will always be people who just don't care, and yeah. But hey, this is a good step.
But it's an AI. It's an AI workshop. So
yeah,
fully automated luxury communism for everyone, and that's it.
Yeah, just a part of the brain we could just like automate it, make it better.
Yeah, but I'm there. AI communism, I'm all in. You know, like it's a Czech festival, so let's just mention Karol Čapek and everywhere. You know, like the robots who are just running stuff for us, and we can just relax and learn languages or whatever we want to do. So this would be a very good. I think.
Welcome back, everybody.
Hi.
Sorry, needed to break this interesting conversation. We are back all together, so I will invite you yet again to the mural board, and we would move now to the next exercise, and it's called AI Superpower. So you see this gigantic green kind of a diamond shape. So this is where we're gonna work right now. Okay, so what we managed so far is to use SDGs lens to think of the problems that we are currently facing. But the second part of our workshop is actually the AI. So now we want to think a little bit about the artificial intelligence technology itself. Nadia, would you like to say a word about AI?
Yes, so we're not going to do a full crash course here on AI, because then that would take too much time. And also the whole idea of today is, to just think from what we have, what we know, right? If we can fear AI from knowing nothing about it, we can also be hopeful about it. So what we want to do for the next exercise is sort of write down, we call them superpowers. But the idea is, to write down, like, in which way does AI add value, or can it actually help to solve certain problems? So this could be, very technical, sort of practical things, like it can find patterns in big data, or like it can spot anomalies, or it can make perfect matches without, based on information without human interference. So we see a lot of those things, just, from reading, from interacting with things on a daily. We know, I think, some of those capabilities it has. So those I think of as sort of like the hard skills, but then there are also soft skills in ways, things that humans can do as well, but AI comes in very handy for. For example, AI doesn't get pissed off if someone's like really rude with them, or it doesn't grow impatient if it has to do the same thing a million times, or, it's always available 24/7 because it doesn't need to like sleep or shower or eat snacks. So these are more like the soft skills in which it can, has a sort of potential to solve problems or add value in a way that's different. So we now want to basically brainstorm all these sort of hard and soft skills of AI systems. So let's start doing that, and we'll see how we go. If we get stuck, I will add some as well. So I will brainstorm along with you, but just start writing them down. They can be as serious or as silly. So just write down in which way AI might help or be valuable to us.
Yeah, we already have some good examples. Has infinite patience. That's true. I don't have it. Predict the near future. Yeah.
Nice, this is going very well. We'll take one more minute to write down any last ideas you have, but perfect mix of hard and soft skills here.
What I see is being available 24/7, very understandable, more accessible than humans sometimes, because humans have personalities and ways of looking, and might not seem as reliable at all the time. It doesn't feel bad. I like this one too. And agreed. Yeah, I think it's a nice balance between very hard skill things like data visualization, personalization, predicting futures, but then also a pattern spotting I see. But then also more softer things like infinite patience, not affected by seasonal depression. Yeah, I don't feel like does not happen. I'm in love with this actually. Ability to map a wide range of ideological or political standpoints in relation to each other without being too biased. I think that's very, very useful. Yeah, doesn't have the imposter syndrome. Reinvent a whole planet. It's utopian thought, but like it might be possible. And much better coordination. Yeah.
Nice. I think we're good with this. I think this is plenty of superpowers to work with.
To get us through the future, right?
Definitely.
All right. So now we actually move to the dreamer phase of our exercise, let's say. And we want you to take one of the superpowers that you just wrote down and combine it with the specific sub-challenge that you've written before. So for example, I see that in group people, some sub-challenge was people preferring people similar to them. And I think that was to the problem of not having enough equality, racial equality in recruitment processes. So let's enter, as I said, our futures where everything can happen. So now we want you to pose a question that starts from what if. So what if AI could help us with one of your challenges then? So if you remember my example about cyberbullying that concerns teenage girls, for example, my what if could be, what if AI ability to recognize patterns can help us to create better laws that would prevent this type of cyberbullying. What if we could use AI learning abilities to create some type of rating system that would show us which online spaces are more prone to cyberbullying or which ones are less. So dream big, don't be afraid to be silly, and be abstract. We don't need to solve anything today, but we want you to let yourself into this positive space where everything is possible. We just need to use artificial intelligence on our side in order to achieve our dreams and hopes. So use what if and phrase the question. So in your groups right now, everybody can type a different what if. You have this yellow post-its over here, use them to type down your what if questions. Discuss it in a group, and then throughout this discussion, maybe you will have even more ideas on what if questions you can pose.
If I can add to that, Caro, also, they don't all have to be like truly solving the problem, right? They can also just be a reframe. So they can also be quite silly. Like, what if AI would just cyber bully back every bully? Or what if it would call them up every time they bully someone online to explain to them like why that's messed up or whatever. Like, they can also be a bit more silly or not necessarily solving the problem as a whole, but just how could the AI superpowers we have bring a new perspective or a new approach or a new experience, a new interaction with these sub-challenges that we've defined before. So try to let go a little bit. For me, it's very hard because of so much like design thinking in my head, but try to let go a little bit of like the problem solving and just allow for any new perspectives.
Because future is not yet explored, so we are able to do anything there. Use it. Okay, so I think
it's the cue for the breakout rooms. I think again, let's give it 10 minutes. So within this one question that you have, there's multiple sub-challenges and multiple AI superpowers that could interact in some way with each other, either more practical or more visionary. Feel free.
Have fun.
So I assume breakout rooms means collective exercise, or shall we just rearrange the...
I think it is collective. I think now we're meant to sort of, just look at the powers and the challenges we came up with and come up with either what if questions or with solutions, I think. Like, what if, I don't know how this would work, but something like the ability of AI to not feel bad.
Yeah, I think it's something which can help.
So where are we supposed to write this down?
I think it's
like,
the next box. Just
oh, okay, just like on the third.
Yeah.
I guess we can spend some time thinking about them individually and just writing stuff, and then we can come back and just say, oh, this is what I thought of. Oh, that's cool. And then So a little, I think that 5 minutes left. So do people want to keep writing, or do they want to, maybe we could like talk about which ones you wrote and collectively come up with new ones or something? Oh, I don't know what the people want to do.
Sure, it would be good to see what others wrote down.
I think we can also try maybe to group them. I think, Sky, you were moving them around. Maybe we could try to group them into some categories somehow.
Yeah, sure. I'll take a look.
I mean, I saw you moving the cards around, which I think is a good way to deal with that.
Oh, I wasn't moving anything, but I'll look at it. But we can, yeah, definitely. If we have some similar topics, similar. So what groups do we have? I think in the left bottom is about like people individual, I think more. Right.
I think, yeah, at the very bottom we have sort of protests-ish. And then it's sort of how it affects individuals.
Yeah, I guess it seems to be like consumer culture as well.
AI sending messages. At the top is kind of data analysis and sort of analyzing companies. And then at the very left is like, I don't want to say miscellaneous, but I didn't like creating a greener future, creating an artificial atmosphere, which would be cool. And then showing us a possible future.
Yeah, I think one thing which I would like to do is maybe if we could choose collectively the ones that we would feel good about and the ones that we would feel bad about, because I think also part of the debate is that some of these futures are, we're speculating about the future, but I think there's also an element of I would never want AI to be doing this and that. I would never want AI to be any algorithms monitoring this and that. So are there any of these which we feel like are more not, I mean, I think it would be great if AI could create an artificial atmosphere, although I like the atmosphere which I have. But I don't know, do you have any thoughts on this, on the models which you seem?
I really like the one that is like, what if AI would stop working for big tech that doesn't respect the environment?
Yeah, that was me.
I have an idea of like a really like grumpy AI that stops one day it's like, no, I'm not going to work for you anymore and quits.
Yeah, that actually was my anonymous answer of right now.
Maybe we can all just choose one and make there like a vote with, I don't know, with maybe with a tiny, how do you say that, like a tiny post-it on top of it or so for everyone who votes for it or so. I've seen it.
Yeah, we can write like +1 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you do that? Plus.
Can you just click on the thing and can you add like a heart or whatever to the? Yeah, we have to add another note, right? Oops. Not sure how to.
I also don't know what the one in the corners mean. Were those already there, or did someone add them?
Which one?
Maybe someone's editing it.
What did you get the sticky notes from anyway? This is text. Is this what? No. Which one's the sticky note? Draw.
What do you mean? Which one is the sticky note?
What's the sticky note on the icons, frameworks, images? What's the sticky note in Mural?
I just right-click and then the third option down is add sticky note.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, thanks. Okie doke. Oh, it actually said there's a voting option.
I prepare to add a vote. Shift click to remove a vote.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry, I'm more of a mirror person. Mirror people versus mirror people. So how do you vote? What do I do to vote?
I'm still not sure how I did it, but
I mean, I did it before, but now it's not.
Yeah, welcome back, everyone. That was our interference. It's really nice to see all the what ifs coming together. What we'll be doing is, I already saw in some groups that people are already voting for their own personal what if favorites. But what we're gonna do is you're gonna vote not for your own what if favorites, but your favorite what ifs from the other group. So everyone will get 2 votes, and that's the voting session that you will see running soon. Everyone gets 2 votes to go to the other group. So the people from planet go to people, and the people from people go to planet. And read through their questions. You get 2 votes for your favorite scenario, the ones that you think are the most interesting or funny or exciting. I'm gonna mute Lizzy for a second for the noise. Yeah, let's have a few minutes to read through those. And as I said, 2 votes per person. And if any questions, you can ask in the chat. to answer the question for Lenka, if you zoom out a little bit on the board, between after the board that's empty, there's the board for Team Planet. Great.
And many cool ideas. They actually take some time to go through all of them.
Let's have the last few seconds before we close. So if you haven't used your 2 votes yet, this is your moment. I don't see a lot of votes yet for the Team People, I think. Or maybe I only see my own votes. If there are no more questions about the voting, then let's stop the voting right now. The time has passed. I think we'll get the results.
Yes.
So here are the top votes, which means that for each group, this is the what if scenario you will be working on for the end part of this workshop. I can't see here which one is for which one, but so the 4 votes for what if AI could create an independent language that guards against any biases it's finding in communication. So this is the one for people.
That's for Team People, exactly, yeah.
And the second one, 3 and 3.
Yeah, I see it. So I can just tell it. For Team Planet, what if AI could constantly monitor and expose corporations that pollute? That got 3 votes.
Cool. I think I'll explain the next part of this workshop.
Go ahead.
What we will be doing is from this what if question that you now have, we're going to be thinking about all these different kind of scenarios that could happen. Or how could you present to the rest of the world what this scenario is like? And for this, we have prepared something to help you a little bit with. If I'm not going too quick, I'm looking at Karolina. I think this is
just one more thing. Basically, the what if scenario with most votes is right now your prompt for the next prototyping exercise. So you have to stick to this one.
Yeah. And what we'll be doing is we will be creating artifacts, so to speak, on or each group will create one artifact that will present this what if scenario in a possible solution. What you can find at the bottom left of this board is something that's called artifacts templates. And once you click on it and you go there, as someone else already sharing the screen on Zoom, so I cannot do it, but I think you'll be able to join in. So you go to the left downside. Oh, thank you.
Go ahead.
What you'll see here is a document with speculative artifact templates. For this, we've created 5 different ways in how you can present the scenario that you will be discussing. This could either be a place, a job, an app, a product, or an event. And how this could show or how this could look like is, for example, a Google Maps listing. So this could be a location somewhere in the world, which is, I don't know, maybe it's a convention of AI robots or something. And all the elements in this template are editable. So this is to give you a little boost up to help you prepare something. So the first one is a Google Maps listing. The second one is a LinkedIn job title. Maybe it's a position that we're looking for a new person or non-person as a future job. There are applications. Again, this is all to change, I think. And there is a Kickstarter page, so for a product that you're creating with your group, and there is an event page. What's important here is that you don't start changing these templates because we're all using them. So once you decide with your group which template you will use, you can copy paste it like this, so you can duplicate it or take a screenshot and edit it somewhere else. So this is going to help you create the visualizations of the things that you'll come up with. I'll be stopping sharing my screen. And maybe Karolina, you want to give the last bit of the exercise?
I just wanted to tell also that if you had struggles in opening up the link with the templates, I also posted the link in our chat on Zoom. So you can also access it from there. Yeah, I think we've explained everything. So basically use these templates that you find in the slides presentation, choose the one that you like most, copy paste this slide, and please do make changes in a separate slide so we can keep some templates open to both of the groups. Otherwise it might get a bit confusing. And
yeah, what might help you if you're like, I'm a bit stuck here, some questions that can help you move forward is, how does our target audience, or how does the person or the group that we're looking at, how would this interact within this context, or how would this help them achieving this sustainability development goal that we've chosen? How would this work within the context of these templates?
Sometimes it's also actually nice to choose a non-obvious template because that kind of sparks your imagination more and actually can lead to some really creative ideas. So maybe it's just good to like browse through it. First, we have 10 minutes for that. So I hope this would be enough. Yeah, we'll see how we are going basically, and then maybe we add 1 or 2 minutes more, right? But let's try to keep it 10 minutes first.
Good luck in your breakout rooms. This is the cue.
So did anyone already spot a template that would be cool to use?
What was the question we're working on? What was the final question that we're working on?
I think the ones we got most votes is...
Yeah, but which one was the one that got most votes, I mean?
Yeah, that's what if AI could constantly monitor and expose corporations that pollute?
Okay.
I think the app one maybe makes the most sense. So Slack Live.
And how about Google Maps listing? Like, you know, if you're McDonald's, so you go to Google Maps, I mean, you know, like it's not like a separate place, but in some sort of public space. So let's take Google Maps as a public space on the internet, and in sort of public, you know, like you're flagged in public. I don't know, it doesn't have to be Google Maps, but you know, like if you're buying something from there's no template, I don't think there's a template for that, but I imagine if you're buying something which belongs to a company, or if you're using a website which belongs to a company which is related to Jeff Bezos, let's say, it will suddenly be all pink and flashy, right? And you go to the Washington Post and it's pink and flashy, and then you go to your Goodreads account and it's pink and flashy, or whatever. I don't know if there's a template for this, but I think it would be great to have an integration into the real life instead of having an app, which is an addition to this. Talking about the app.
Maybe it can just do these really annoying spam things on the reviews on the Google Maps or so.
Yeah, or like but I think it would make more sense if this was integrated somewhere rather than an app, you know, like carbon emission app. I think it would be nicer if it was integrated somewhere in internet's public space, or I don't know, like the Google, at the top of Google search results, you will always get information about who's doing the worst or something of the sort.
Sure. I mean, that idea sounds good. I'm wondering which template would make the most sense then, and if we need to create a new one with like our own drawing.
Yeah, I think we can use this templates as in, you know, like Google Maps as a prompt, but I imagine we can also create a separate template that best fits our needs here, flagging the corporation.
I created a copy of this. I can share it with you all. Actually, give me a second, because I created it on my university account, and for some reason. Yeah, now we can just edit it together.
Will you send us the link, or how does this work?
Yeah, give me like 1 minute to create it.
So do we want to like point out one specific company for right now, like McDonald's or so?
I don't know who are the companies. I imagine that all the stuff which is I don't know, like I don't know who are what are the biggest corporations, but someone said that 70% emissions is by 100 biggest companies. So I imagine any of I'm not sure if it's McDonald's who pollutes. I think it would be more like the GAFA, you know, corporations, for instance, like Google or Amazon or whatever in the tech industries, and maybe some oil companies. But I'm not sure McDonald's is really such a polluter, but maybe I have no idea about hamburgers. So is there any way we could check who are the polluters?
I don't think it matters exactly. We can just have evil company and just be like a placeholder.
Yeah, I'm gonna tap in and help you guys brainstorm a little bit. So this is also for me the most fun part of the exercise.
Okay.
I think here it doesn't matter what actual text that you're using. So it could be, you could make up the title of a new fictional oil company that's using all of the oil in the world, for example. So it could be, it's more about what does this do and how would that work?
Also, I'm sharing my screen.
Okay, but I have the stats. I mean, not to stop you, but just for our
China coal.
just for our you know just to be informed. China coal, yeah, 14% of emissions.
Yeah, that's a beautiful name for something.
For China coal.
So then what were we imagining that this, are we imagining that this would be like Google review, like the AI would just spam Google reviews and be like, pollutes a lot, pollutes a lot, pollutes a lot, pollutes a lot, or more the, I mean, I think that's cool. Just having AI that can spam things, but or what about other?
What about some like skull or something as an image?
Yeah, like the.
Also, let me know if you all don't have edit access. post it again. Yeah, like feel free to edit it. And stuff.
Yeah. Okay, you just send us which slide are we on? The third one in your presentation, right?
Yeah.
I think someone's been editing the main presentation. No, you've been sharing. Okay, I see now. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what happened is that Abraham copied the entire file, so you can just work in this one.
Yeah.
So it will become like
Yep.
a bit of like when you have this logo for like dangerous substances and stuff, and it does this psychology thing of like these shapes that make you scared a bit. Maybe the skull will kind of push people away.
Okay. So also I have problems for this to load, but you can add the skull emoji and what's the toxic waste emoji. Oh, my computer is really slow these days. Yeah, no, I'm dropping the emojis. I don't know. It's not very Okay, so what is the thing that would be happening? So it's like something which we go to Google Maps, and suddenly on Google Maps you just see a notification saying that this company is polluting, right?
Yeah, and I think Sky also brought up the possibility of like spamming bad reviews.
Okay.
So you could just do it like.
I like that it will be interfering with the actual reviews of the company. So there's this AI, which is kind of like bad.
Yeah. So I feel AI. Oh, that's a good skull.
So it's not a map of the actual location, but this is kind of the interface of something which is kind of similar to Google Maps or like a Google system, but then it's a way of tracking the pollution of big corporations. Or would it interfere with usual, like normal search engines?
I think we're discussing the fact that we would like this to be something which is happening in the real world. So not a separate application.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like real world punishment. So like a way to flag people who are polluting. So if you don't, you know, it's like this, yeah, but I mean AI would just be interfering with some stuff, right? But this is I don't know what the other ones say.
Mm-hmm.
We were discussing Google Maps as a public space. So, you know, you just sort of like in a village, you would stone people. Now AI would be stoning corporations.
I like that.
digital village.
Digital stoning.
Yeah.
I think what we have if we wanted to incorporate it like with real Google Maps, would we have the skull image or would we have the skull image on top of
the corporation's image?
So maybe like a bit smaller, or like, yeah, if it's a building in the street, so like you see the street and then you see like the skull on top.
Sounds good to me. If you can create it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we should do the stars. Maybe we should use like a different symbol instead of stars. You know, like I don't know what do they. But normally it's I can add the toxic thing. No, I don't like it. I don't know. It's usually stars on Google Maps, isn't this?
Yeah, I think so. Like for places and restaurants, it gives stars.
Okay. Oh, someone's adding something.
It should just always only show the bad reviews. Hey, that's something an AI can do.
Like it's always gonna be like the first thing to read rather than the actual reviews. Like it kind of interferes in that way.
Yeah, like I think sometimes it's the other way around, right? But in this case, it will be the bad ones first.
And maybe it could be like, would it just be saying this is bad, or would it also give you like a sentence or two on like, did you actually know that this corporation is polluting this much of the earth in this way?
Yeah,
maybe
that would make sense. Yeah.
Maybe it could be the place where like now there's the historical significance.
Yeah, maybe some warning or so. Like, hey, do you know that if you're going to engage with this company, you're partly responsible for this and this and this.
It would be nice to add a sentence or two on that. I also like that it gives you it would maybe give you, you know how usually apps have like similar places like this, like, oh, if you like this restaurant, you will also like this restaurant. And in that case, it could be compared to the rating of like, oh, well, this place is polluting this much. Did you actually know that this place is also polluting this much? They're kind of similar to the list that Anna shared in the chat here.
Yeah, like the button, it's got the like link to the nature reserve. So maybe we could have like places that this company is actively polluting and the like impacts of that.
That would be nice, yeah. I think there's about 1 minute left on the clock, so maybe let's make some final edits. 1,000 elephants last month, I like that. I think that we're gonna all come back together. It's good if that what we're gonna do soon is that we're gonna put this in the board. So maybe if one of you could take a screenshot of this and place it on the board. I'll ask the other group to do this as well now that they're returning.
Yes, we are back.
I can do it. Should I stop sharing my screen, I guess?
Yes. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. I would like to ask you to copy paste or screenshot the template that you've used, so the thing that you filled in, and place it on the mural board and make it nice and big as you guys are doing. And I'm so excited about this. I would like to ask the first group, team people, I would like to ask everyone to zoom in on their artifact, and I would like to ask one of them to present their idea. So what was the question, or what was the issue that they've been trying to think about, and what have they now created?
Can we zoom in a little bit more? Perfect. I love the comment bye.
So I think we'll let's look at the top one first, maybe at Neutropia. Yes, thank you. Can someone from this group explain to the rest of the group what they've made here?
I can, if no one else does. Okay. So we were talking about how how can AI correct people's language, and if someone is writing, you know, bossy to someone, AI can come up and say like, you're writing bossy instead of boss because you're writing this to a woman and stuff. So we were thinking, can we invent the like new natural language that which can go totally dystopian as well, like AI says stuff instead of you mean something else, but it corrects your language, and like, I think you meant that, you know. So when you go rude, it just makes it like soft. So we kind of created this new place, Neutropia, the freeland Neutropia beyond its neutral significance, the non-outstanding landscape that evolved unique language of Neutropian, a language that guards against any biases in communication. Yeah, this is more or less this. Like, it's a digital space, safe digital realm.
And it kind of like, it came from this Neutropian language that was being inserted in places, and then it slowly grew into this new digital realm. Very nice. I was raised in Neutropian language, so this is like second home. So nice. Thank you. Your safe digital realm. That, I think that's a very great subtitle. Like, it feels like I'm in an info commercial. And I like that this has like both like a utopian and a dystopian feeling to it. Like, yeah, they could be very positive, but also like, is this something where I want to be? Like, do I want to be able to speak in a Neutropian language? Does this take away my personality if everything that I do and say is entirely correct? I like that edge to it.
But it's rated 4.8, Erik, so I think it's kind of good.
Yeah. People are enjoying it. Yeah, let's move down in the screening to the second artifact, which is funnily enough the same template. And I would like to ask someone from that group to present the scenario that they've been working on, and also what we're looking at.
I can go. Yeah, so the question that we were answering was, what if AI could help identify or call out corporations that were polluting a lot? So the template we envisioned was this AI thing that would help call out these companies by, I don't know if interfering is the right word, but kind of overlaying on Google Maps useful information to that purpose. So in this case, there's this evil corporation, and what this AI thing would do is it replaces like the stars with skulls. It replaces the business with a skull. It gives you useful information, such as like partly responsible for 82% and how they killed 1,000 elephants, and also bombards it with comments about how it's either polluting so much that it's not funny, or just bad, etc. And yeah, and I think the key features is we wanted this to integrate with quote unquote the real world. We didn't want a separate app or a separate thing, because you know, if that happens, then the only people who are going to use that are probably people who already care. But that is our AI tool.
I think it's really nice that like somehow you guys went in quite a similar direction, because the first artifact also comes from this idea that an AI would interact or would interfere with a language that we're using and then kind of transforms it. And here as well, that the AI kind of interferes in a very direct way and just fucks things up in the placement of things. I also really like the small fun facts that they're giving. Like, did you know? Because I was talking with them a little bit that like usually in Google Maps listings and stuff, they will give you recommended spaces, or they will give you any links to things that relate to this. If you like this, then you also like this. But in this case, it's actually saying, well, did you actually know that if you're using this app or if you're going to this place, then you're actually contributing to a larger issue because they have killed over 1,000 elephants last month. I hope you guys can stick with me for like a few more minutes. We're a little bit over time. I'm gonna share my screen for the last part of the wrap up, which I'm doing now. Yeah, I want to thank you all. I think we want to thank you all for participating in this workshop. I know that 2 hours of your time can be quite a lot, and especially in, you know, this Corona times where literally everything that we're doing is happening on our screens. I know it takes a lot of energy from you. And I'm really, really happy with the results. I would like to ask you all to help us out and also help each other maybe out, and write down in the Zoom chat what your biggest takeaway was from this workshop. Like maybe your biggest, I really like this part, or I really found this interesting, or actually I really found this pretty shit. Like that's also very fine to say. That would be really nice for us to know as well, which part we could also improve for the future. So maybe a minute or two for this before we close the meeting.
Yeah. Also, thank you guys for all your creativity, and I think the projects are great. The other thing that I was thinking during the presentation is, you know, how difficult it is to think positively, and what does it say actually, and how we could actually incorporate that type of thinking into creating the futures, and somehow train this muscle in us.
I see 2 really nice messages already. Fabulous moderation and planning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Some last giveaways from people. Also, if you're like, oh, this is a bit too intense, because I wanna reach out and like, I don't know, share some negative aspects, but I don't want the rest of the group to know, then we'll also share our details soon, so you can reach out to us personally if you would feel like you prefer that. The framing of fears and anxieties to hopes and dreams was an interesting thought exercise. Nice. I was also, I think that's something that we added since the first time that we did this workshop. So we've kind of been going forth and forth with redeveloping this, also based on the feedback we got from people. And we hoped that this way of, because we come from these like negative ideas, that actually using those negative ideas as the only thing you can use to create positive ideas could help us with like the reframing of things.
Yeah, I actually kind of also wanted from my side a little bit, that coming from Speculative Futures Rotterdam and kind of thinking a lot about the future. I think this type of exercise, thinking about the positive futures, kind of invites us into a future activism and democratize this process of thinking actually. So we all can make small change, and I feel like imagination is the part where it starts. So it was so motivating to see you guys today working and being willing to talk about these issues. Thank you all for contributing and being here with us today.
Yeah, as a last minute before I'm sure you all want to run off, as I was mentioning before, for us it's a very ongoing process of trying to create the best version of this workshop, and we're writing a Medium document on this to also help other people facilitate online workshops. Hence the question here: is anyone uncomfortable with sharing their team's work on a Medium post? If you're like, hell no, like don't try a single bit, then just tell us at the end, or reach out to us after this workshop. Then we just won't use it. There's no hard feelings there. Everything with full consent. And also, if you feel like talking a bit longer about this workshop or about your practice or our practice, we will stick around a little bit longer. I have, I think, another slide with our, these are our Instagram links in case you want to link up. And also I see that we're not the only ones. So if you feel like you want to reconnect or you want to connect with the rest of the people in your groups, then drop your Instagram links or websites in the chat. I think it would be nice to stay connected in some way. Yeah, maybe Nadia, Karolina, anything you guys want to add to this?
I also wanted to thank the organizers of Uroboros Festival that for providing us this space. Thank you so much for your technical support. It was really lovely and seamless. Too bad we can't meet in person, but this was already lovely, and I'm so happy we could connect from people from all over the world in doing that. And I think Uroboros also has a Discord channel where actually maybe it's also easy to continue conversation and share the details. Am I right, Lenka and Anna?
Yes, I was already sharing a link, but now I'll share it again. So you can all just also head to Discord and you choose one of the voice channels, for example, synthetic, because this is a part of the synthetic track, and just, hang out there and continue talking. Or you can also use one of those text channels to exchange your, Instagram handles. So yeah, thank you so much. It was really interesting.